What is uppeth? Who is here? I see Envy919, Zombie King. Hello. How was your evening? I was just laughing with my husband because we were talking about... Oh, someone's here.
Just in the back.
My dogs bark at everything, including the mailman or someone walking by the house or anything at all, if anyone's listening. Hello. I'm not going to start reading anything until I see that people are listening to me jabber on. How's everyone's Martin Luther King Day? How's the holiday treating you? Is it treating you well? It's been snowing here nonstop for days. Yeah. So the holiday here is Laughing Jack Creepypasta. Hello. Paul Kate. Hello. Good evening. I'm in the mood to act like I have an accent that makes me sound classier than I am. Right before it. Hey, way my Android is great. Heyo. Hello. I was just laughing with my husband talking about things that you do. Like if you broke something when you were a kid or even as an adult and someone's like, who broke this? And you look at it like, what? It's broken? And so I said I did that same face when I was a kid when my brother and I, my friends, stole my parents' Jeep to go up to the store to buy cigarettes when I was 14. The only thing that got us caught was the fact that it had snowed outside, and I did not think enough to cover the tracks. So, my bad. Oh, let's see. Would you like some candies, Duchess? Ha ha ha. Always. 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 Mainly I want chocolate. Ew. I can tell the story. So my stepson wanted like chocolate milk. So a compromise was I got some chocolate milk mix. And I bought, what was that called? What was that called? The mixed stuff that I got. Quick? Nestle Quick.
Nestle Quick.
Ugh. I don't know if they changed the formula of that stuff, but it is disgusting. And the aftertaste tasted like, I imagine, dish soap. It was gross. It didn't even taste like chocolate. Ugh. Quentin Dixon. Greetings from Texas. Hello. Yurt Gibbons. Hello. Raya Wally. Oh, we needed a date night. Yes. Don't neglect me. I will feel it immediately. No. I've decided to try and do live stream. Number one, I work outside of the home Monday through Friday now. And number two, most of the people that wanted to be on the, involved in the live streams, not everyone. So hopefully other people can catch it. And I'm hoping that it will get to those that would normally be on it. But a lot of people have a different time zone. So yeah. Oh, that stuff's so nasty. What happened to it? It used to be good. And the stuff that like is really chocolatey, it's like the Hershey's chocolate syrup. It's just a little, it hurts my stomach because it's too concentrated, but the chocolate taste is good. And I don't know if you guys know, but I can't have like a lot of dairy stuff. Like, and here's an example. I know if you're new here, just think if you're talking to someone and they see a squirrel. I sidetrack a lot, so I apologize. I do have some stuff lined up for us to read, and I will ask you guys, and you can vote on it while I ramble for a minute. I found 3 stories, and you guys can pick which one. And I'll go whoever. Yay! Kahlest, hello. So let's see. The first one I found is called, and you guys can all vote on this, and we'll decide the majority rules. The creepiest urban legends and ghost stories from Arizona, or 10 people who may have disappeared into another dimension, or this one you guys might find most interesting because it's titled, Family Says Their Home's Secret History Led to a Demonic Infestation That Terrorized Them for Years. And they have some photos, so I'd have to screen share it with you. Or we can do more than one, but I'll let you guys decide. Hello again, Envy. You make poison candles. I'm not sure how that works.
Candies.
Poison candies. The I and the L are closed. I'm supposed to have glasses on when I don't have them on, so it's not detrimental, but it makes a difference in small things. Anyways, so we have one vote for the demonic story, but I was coming to another conclusion with, I was going to tell the story of why I can't have dairy. How I discovered I can't have dairy. Like, I can have cheese like on a pizza, but that's about it. Anything more, and just light cheese. So, was it 2 years ago or last year?
Not this Halloween, but the Halloween before.
Okay, so last Halloween, we went to our local grocery store. They get like pumpkins locally, so we usually get them from there. And so me and my stepdaughter went into the store to pay for them. And while we were in there, it has a Starbucks inside, and there was no one around. So we're like, let's get Starbucks. And I specifically told the lady, can you make it with almond milk or coconut milk, because I can't have, milk like everybody else can, because it'll make me sick. She's like, sure. There's literally no one else there. There's no one else before us or after us at all. She makes the coffee. I take a swig of it, and as I take the cup away from my face, I waft a strong hint of milk. And I was like, I looked at her and said, did you make this with milk? And instantly, like, I don't know what it's called when the vomit rises in your throat and you hold back yourself from throwing up, but that's what I had to do. And I was literally in there panicking, trying to figure out, where am I going to vomit? And I don't even know why. How did I get to that point? Oh, because I can't buy chocolate milk. That was the whole point of me telling you that story, was because I can't buy chocolate milk. Okay, we've got, let's see, voting for the demonic story. 2, 3 are voting for the demonic. 1 is for the another dimension. Which one is that? 2 for the demonic, for the dimension one. 3 for the demonic. Kahlest wants all of them. How's everybody's weekend? How was your holiday? Technical difficulties. Can you hear me okay? Everyone hear me okay? Well, I just didn't want to do that. Plus, people usually remember the face of someone that threw up all over the place. And, it's one of those great big small towns where you don't know everybody by name, but you definitely will remember the face of someone that barfed all over the store you were just in. So, yeah. But you can hear me okay. Okay, that's good. If you can at some point, please let me know. My husband is looking at the comments so that when I'm reading, he can pay attention to that, because you know how distracted I get in normal conversation. Okay, so we've got 3 for the demonic. If you're new or didn't hear the choices, we've got 10 creepiest urban legends and ghost stories from Arizona, and no one wanted that, really. 10 people who may have disappeared into another dimension, or the family that says their home's secret history led to a demonic infestation that terrorized them for years. It seems to be leaning toward that, the last one there. Is it really warm in here, or is it just me?
Just you.
It was decent. What was decent?
The weekend.
Oh, forgot how much of a delay there is with the conversation. How was mine? Very, very cold. I think it was -5 the whole time. Yeah. And mind you, it's supposed to be that cold here. We are in Michigan, but the last 2 winters, last winter we didn't have the heat on until after Christmas, did we? And the winter and the Christmas before that, it was 70 degrees outside, and we had the windows and doors open while we had a Christmas party. Yeah, so it's been weird. It's how it should be. Laughing Jack says, all around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought was all up, or the pop goes the weasel. Well, okay, don't worry. I do the same. I'm boiling, dude. It's freezing. That creepy narration. Hey, Duchess. Hello. Dark Scholar. Hello. You guys in Dark Scholar, let me read 2 of his stories, and I just loved them. I just love how they turn out. I'm always nervous when someone asks me to read something for them, especially since I saw other people had read them. And I try not to do that, but honestly, if I did that all the time, then I wouldn't have anything to read probably. I mean, granted, I do go out of my way to try and find stuff that no one else has read, but I can't guarantee that. Like, I can't search all of YouTube and see, you know, search the title and see if someone else has read that or not. So that'd be really difficult. I just finished reading something that will go up on the channel tomorrow. That's a 5-part series by Brian Morrow. So it's 10. Laughing Jack says it's 10 degrees here in New Hampshire. Yeah. Would you like a story now? Oh, I like any story. I really like the way that you write, Dark Scholar. Oh, sweet. Yes, please. Let me know. Let me know, Dark Scholar. Okay. Let's see. I'm checking Twitter. So I asked Twitter, so I'm going to ask you guys this too. I got a 23andMe genetics test for Christmas. And I asked, and it was 100% on Twitter, but I'll ask you guys this. I'll just let you know that. I asked Twitter if they wanted to see the results, and they said absolutely. And so what I was thinking of doing, because it's going to be at least, hey, Logan, it's going to be at least a month or so before I get the results back. But I thought I would open the email on live stream and let you guys see it when I see it. Basically, I have a very complicated and confusing family history. I think I've hinted at that several times, and I'm really hoping that that clears it up. I can't trace beyond my grandparents. And everybody, you know, your family always tells you you're this, you're that. And I'm just hoping that the genetics test clears up some falsehoods and maybe answers some questions that I don't have any answers to. My email is duchessdark676@gmail.com, and I'm going to write that in there in case anybody else wants it. But I usually have that in the description box all the time too. Let's see. That creepy narration says, I had to move out of my room because it was so cold that my drink froze overnight. Whoa. That's really sweet, Laughing Jack. Especially since sometimes I'm just like, wow, that really, sometimes I read something and put it up and think, oh my God, no one's going to listen to that. Everyone's going to hate it. I mean, I know that I don't have, you know, I think when you get into the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, then you get a lot more hate comments. So I only get one once in a while, but I feel like the more people listen to you, the more prevalent your hate comments would be. So I think it's good to just have that shadow of doubt so you don't get cocky, you know. But I enjoy it too. So I don't know. I'm always hoping someone else will. Yes, you will be able to watch this later. I will leave it up. I'm not sure who listens to these after they're done because you don't get to interact as much. But sometimes I listen to live streams after they're over. I think the only one I won't leave up is when I do the genetics test live, because I don't think I want people that aren't involved with the live stream. And that, again, that's not until a month later or more. I probably won't leave that one up because I don't want people like strolling through my genetics history. I don't know. I think I'll share it with people who make the effort to come to the live stream just because, you know. Oh yeah, I know. Haters are just out there waiting to hate on people. It's true. Thank you, Dark Scholar. I will check it as soon as all this is over. That creepy narration says, me too, but they still love them. P.S. I love getting hate comments. Sometimes I do, but it just seems like some people are just looking. So you know what I do now? I just pin the hate comment. I just pin it, and what else can I do? Or if it's mean towards other people to the point where it's just uncalled for, I just block them. Kahlest says, okay, when you do the genetics one, do it as a dinner with Duchess, and then I can watch. Yeah, I've learned that. It seems like more people can join in when there's a live stream at night. That's why. And plus, I'm working during the day here, so I'm not sure. I think isn't it really late where you're at, Kahlest? Isn't it like 2 in the morning or something like that? Or 1 in the morning or something like that? I'm thinking. Trying not to assume. I'm going to give you guys one last chance here. No one has voted for the creepiest urban legends from Arizona. But it seems to be a tie between people who have disappeared into another dimension and the family that says their home's secret history led to a demonic infestation. Oh, it's dinner time there. Okay. Kind of a streamer more than a narrator, so I can't block them. Really? I think if you go into your settings, even during it, like if you right click on your creator studio and you go in and you can block certain words or people during the thing. Or if you have a moderator, I guess that's the only way you could really do that. Because if you're live streaming, I guess you couldn't really. Do you live stream games? Stories? Another dimension. I might just read both of those, since the dimension ones is only 10, and then the other one, we'll see how that goes. Because I don't really preview them very much before I give you guys the options. I just try and find them so that we have something to read. I was looking up funny Valentine's things on Pinterest too before this, so I'll listen later because I'm laggy, but it was awesome hearing you live. All right, thank you for coming, Envy. Yes. Creepy Iteration says, streamer on Twitch and a bit of both. Gotcha. I could never figure out Twitch, and I don't know. I'm just sticking with what I can here, and I'm still trying to build up my own thing, my own platform for horror. If you didn't know, there's a whole... I should put that in my description, but I started a Patreon so I can start my own platform for horror. I feel like I'm going to lose my voice. That's what it feels like, but I think it's just the weather going in and out of the cold. All right, so we are going to start with 10 people who may have disappeared into another dimension. Let's see. Let's see. Owen Parfitt. Owen Parfitt lived in the English town of Shepton Mallet and mysteriously disappeared sometime in the 1760s. Parfitt was unable to walk on his own due to a disease, so he lived with his sister. She took care of him and helped him move around the house. One day, Parfitt was sitting outside right by the front door where he usually sat, and his sister came over to move him. In the chair, she found only the coat that her brother had covered himself with to keep warm. She thought perhaps that a neighbor had moved him inside the house, but when she looked, he was nowhere to be found. All the neighbors said they had not moved Parfitt and had not seen anyone else move him. No one ever saw him again. Because he was unable to walk on his own, we can only assume that Owen Parfitt was sucked into another dimension while he was sitting in the chair. I mean, that's quite obvious that someone could have taken him. But who knows? I'll be curious to see what you guys think. Creepy narration. Yep, we're going to need a graphic designer. I'm going to need a programmer and a web programmer and a web designer, because you need a lot of complicated stuff. Oh, Schmeister. Whoa, didn't know you were going live. I am, girl. And we just did the first story of this one. We're doing 10 people who may have disappeared into another dimension, and the first one is very questionable. We're on to number 2, Brian Schaefer. Brian Schaefer was a medical student at Ohio State University who disappeared in April of 2006. Schaefer met up with several friends at a bar one night, and he was last seen sometime around 2 a.m. when witnesses saw him talking with 2 women at the bar. Sometime after that, Schaefer's friends lost track of him. They realized he was no longer in the bar, and so they left, thinking that their friend had just gone home. But Brian never made it home. In fact, he vanished, never to be seen again. The strangest part of the story is that this particular bar had security cameras at the entrance. The police found footage of Schaefer entering the bar, but there was no footage that ever showed him leaving, and investigators found no evidence of foul play. That one is weird. Louis Le Prince. Louis Le Prince was the inventor of the motion picture, though Thomas Edison would take credit for his invention after Le Prince disappeared. Was a patent-greedy Edison responsible? Probably not. Le Prince mysteriously disappeared in September of 1890. Le Prince had been visiting his brother in Dijon, France, and boarded a train to go back to Paris. When the train arrived in Paris, Le Prince did not get off the train, so a conductor went to his compartment to fetch him. When the conductor opened the door, he found that Le Prince and his luggage were gone. The train made no stops between Dijon and Paris, and Le Prince could not have jumped out the window of his compartment since the windows were locked from the inside. The police searched the countryside between Dijon and Paris, but never found any trace of the missing man. It seems he just vanished. There is a possibility, which the police never considered, that Le Prince never boarded the train in the first place. Le Prince's brother Albert was the one who took Louis to the train station. It's feasible that Albert could have been lying, and that he actually killed his own brother for his inheritance money. But at this point, we'll likely never know. Yeah, that seems like he could have gotten thrown off the train. I mean, these don't seem like glitch stories. These just seem like missing people who, like, I don't know. He could have been going between train cars and fell off the train. Like, Global Ghost Eagle 1991, the Hawkseye. Greetings, everyone. Hello. Stream cut out for a sec. Did I miss anything? Oh. Did I cut out or did your stream cut out? I didn't cut out? You don't know. Okay. Okay, going back. James E. Tedford. James E. Tedford mysteriously vanished in November of 1949. Tedford boarded a bus in St. Albans, Vermont, where he had been visiting family. He was taking the bus to Bennington, Vermont, where he lived in a retirement home. 14 passengers saw Tedford on the bus, sleeping in his seat, after the last stop before Bennington. What doesn't make sense is that when the bus arrived in Bennington, Tedford was nowhere to be seen. All his belongings were still on the luggage rack. What's even stranger about the case is that Tedford's wife also disappeared some years earlier. Tedford was a World War II veteran, and when he returned from the war, he found his wife had vanished and their property had been abandoned. Did Tedford's wife find a way to bring her husband into the next dimension with her? Stranger things have happened. No. I mean, I think that what I've been noticing lately is that freelance writers are in the bulk, and literally you can post anything on the internet and call it a story. I mean, obviously that's what Us Magazine is, and then get credit for it. I don't understand it. Wow. All right, we'll just go through this and then we'll get to the haunting, the demonic home in a minute anyway. So Thelma Pauline Melton. Whoa, this is like a really old picture here. She was a 58-year-old woman who disappeared while hiking with two of her friends in September of 1981. The three friends were hiking in the Great Smoky Mountains on an easy trail that Melton was very familiar with. Melton was walking a bit ahead of her companions, so she was the first to round an upcoming bend. When the friends rounded the same bend, they found that Melton had vanished. Melton was overweight and had suffered from high blood pressure, so the possibility that she could have suddenly sprinted off is unlikely. No trace of Melton was ever found. No, but a mountain lion could have pounced off with her quickly. I'm going to say, yeah, mountain lion. You can disappear real quick when you're someone's dinner. This one is called Prabdeep Saran, who was a Canadian military reservist who disappeared on a hiking trip in Australia in May 2013. Saran parked his rented camper and set off in the main range walk in Kozuksio National Park. And I know I butchered that word. I'm so sorry. A staff member called the police when he noticed that the vehicle hadn't moved for a week, though it only had a 24-hour park pass on it. The bizarre part of this case is that 2 park rangers heard a voice which sounded like a cry for help coming from the area Saran disappeared from. Despite this information, searchers couldn't locate Saran, and the origin of the voice remains unknown. Elizabeth O'Prey. I've lost track of how many people we've done now. Elizabeth was a 77-year-old woman who lived in the Blue Mountains area of Australia and went missing in March of 2016. O'Prey was walking on one of the trails in the Blue Mountains when she got lost. One day after her family reported her missing, rescuers were actually able to get a hold of her on her mobile phone, at which time she said she was okay, but had no idea where she was. A few days later, both residents in the area and police heard screams for help, but still the searchers were unable to locate her. To this day, Elizabeth O'Prey has not been found. At the time she disappeared, she was apparently taking stroke medication, which can cause confusion and may explain why she got lost. But that doesn't explain how searchers were unable to locate her after speaking to her on the phone and hearing her cries for help. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because I'm pretty sure you can locate a phone through satellite anywhere in the world, can't you? At this point? But that was in 2016. Thank you. Love your content, Duchess. Thank you, Ghost Eagle. Police says there was a guy who quite literally vanished in front of his family on a farm, and another young man who vanished mid-step on a road in front of friends. Hello, zombies. Angela, hello. Oh man, I want to record videos so much, but due to sleeping in my frosty room, it hurts when I speak. Not that Michelle feels so. Victor Vega, hello. Great and Powerful Victor is here. We are reading 10 people who may have disappeared into another dimension, and I think we have 3 more to go. 2 or 3 more to go. I've lost track now. Yeah, well, this is number 7 or 8. 7 or 8, anyway. Martha Wright. Martha Wright disappeared in 1975 when she and her husband Jackson were driving from New Jersey to New York. When they were driving through the Lincoln Tunnel, the couple had to pull over because there was a lot of condensation on their car windows. Martha wiped off the back windshield while Jackson took the front. When Jackson had cleared the windshield, he looked up to find that his wife was gone. There's nowhere that a woman could have run into the middle of the Lincoln Tunnel, and it's highly unlikely that someone in another car would have been able to pull over and snatch her without her husband seeing. It seems as though she just vanished from the spot where she was standing. Since there were no other witnesses, there is the possibility that Jackson Wright killed his wife and made up the story about the tunnel to explain her disappearance. But if you wanted to cover up killing your wife, why would you tell such an implausible story? Because I think most people that kill people do that. They make up some crazy-ass story, but who knows? Do you guys think he killed her? Or do you think that she disappeared into another dimension? Because it kind of seems like most of these people were obviously murdered by someone, but whatever. Brandon Swanson, that's the next one we're on to. He was a 19-year-old college student from Minnesota who disappeared in May of 2008. He was on his way home from a night out with friends and crashed his car into a ditch. He called his parents and asked them to pick him up. This is where the story gets strange. Brandon told his parents his car went off the road near a town called Lind, Minnesota, and he was going to walk toward that town to pick him up. However, as his parents approached Lind, they saw no sign of their son or his car. The car was later found near a different town called Taunton, Minnesota, not even close to where Brandon said it would be. Brandon routinely traveled to that particular route, so it's unlikely that he would have been wrong about where he was. Brandon was on the phone with his father for about 45 minutes, and his parents were trying to locate him when he suddenly said, "Oh shit," and the line went dead. Authorities postulated that Brandon fell into a nearby river, but when his parents called him back, his phone kept on ringing, which would not have been possible if it had fallen in the water. Yes, it could have. All those calls went unanswered, and Brandon was never seen again. I think that, I know this for a fact, when you've been out drinking a lot, no matter how well you know an area, you can get turned around really, really easily. It happened to someone I grew up with who's been passed away for about 14 years now. Drank all night, slept for a little bit, tried to drive home in the early hours of the morning, took a wrong turn and was completely turned around and ended up getting an accident because he didn't know. He thought he was in an area that he wasn't in, and I think that's probably what happens a lot. Yeah, that is weird. Let's see here. Damian McKenzie. Let me make sure that's still going. I can see the little rings around the lip to make sure that that's still going. So you guys let me know if anything happens to the sound. You'll be able to see the comments. My husband's watching the comments to let me know if anything happens there. This one is Damian McKenzie, excuse me. In his book Missing 411, author David Paulides, describes the mysterious case of Damian McKenzie. McKenzie was a 10-year-old boy who disappeared in 1974 while on a camping trip at Victoria Falls with a total of 40 students. The group was on a hike to the top of the falls when they noticed that Damian was gone. According to one of the other kids that was on the same camping trip, searchers tracked Damian's footprints all the way up one side of the falls, but the footprints mysteriously stopped, as if something had snatched Damian up. No one saw any suspicious people in the area, and canine tracking dogs were unable to pick up a scent trail. The boy was never found. It's as if Damian was suddenly beamed up, leaving an unfinished trail of footprints. I think that if a mountain lion or a bear was going to grab you, I'm not sure that people would pick up your scent. Does anybody know? Like if someone's small enough. Gotta go to sleep. It's 3:30 a.m. Okay, bye, creepy narration. Good night, Zombie King. Schmeister said, strange disappearances have some really deep cultural background all over the world. The Japanese believed it's the spirits literally taking you away into another world. Makes for pretty good anime, but damn creepy. Yeah, Schmeister, I'm looking forward to researching the links that you gave me also. That'll make for some very creepy stories. I'm really excited about that. So everybody can thank Schmeister for those. Skinwalkers, legends, isn't that right? Since that only took a few minutes, I have another thing to read that for some of you that just joined. I found this thing that says the family says their home's secret history led to a demonic infestation that terrorized them for years. And here are some of their terrifying photos, apparently. So, let's see. Got more info just in case. Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to researching that fully. Okay, so this is an eerie story of a so-called demonic infestation, and I have no idea the angle the writer is taking here. I never know until I'm in it if they're being like sarcastic, if they're trying to support the claims, if they're trying to disprove the claims. So I guess we'll see as we go. It's an eerie story of a so-called demonic infestation that seems so terrifying that it's perfectly suited for the pages of a horror novel. But Bob Cranmer, a former commissioner in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Now, if all you are familiar, Allegheny County, I think there's an Allegheny Park that's got a lot of haunted stories in it. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, he insists that it is a horrific and life-altering reality for him and his family. From a mysterious blood-like substance coating the walls of his home to crucifixes purportedly snapping in half on their own and scratches randomly appearing on his body. Cranmer told the Blaze earlier this year that something profoundly evil was terrorizing his family. He claims that the demonic force was eventually expelled, but only after the Diocese of Pittsburgh, Friar Michael Slavanya, a local priest, Protestant pastors, and Adam Bly a self-described demonologist, spent 2 years fervently battling its presence by repeatedly holding mass and blessing the home. Following the release of his new book in August detailing the purported horrors titled The Demon of Brownsville Road, a Pittsburgh family's battle with evil in their home, Cranmer recently shared photos and additional details of what unfolded. He claims that the images, which show a range of the purported activity in the home, capture only a tiny portion of the chaos that raged. The figure on the staircase, Cranmer said that it at first seemed as though there was a friendly ghost inside the home in December of 1998 after his family moved in. It wasn't until 2003 that the situation truly intensified. One day he said he noticed the family dog sitting and intently staring at something on the staircase. Cranmer didn't see anyone or anything there, but he decided to snap a photo anyway. After he had it developed, he noticed a smoky skeleton on the staircase, and that's what he believes his dog was staring at. The very force that he contends was wreaking havoc in the home. I couldn't see it with my own eyes. Here, I'm going to share it with you guys so you guys can see it too. I don't think that it's that like groundbreaking, the photo. But it is odd. I will say that. It's an odd photo to say the least. I'll just leave it there for a second. In a previous interview, Cranmer, who has 4 children, said his kids also once saw the entity, describing the figure as a really strange-looking person wearing a black dress. But that was the only overt apparition. As he said, the demon would typically manifest itself as a shadowy figure moving about the home. I'll share with you guys in a second again when I find more photos. Bly, a demonology expert, has a degree in psychology and said he saw shadows with no origin and experienced phantom smells. I observed black shadows sliding along floors and walls that were not being cast by anything, Bly told The Blaze, which is this website that we're on. I also smelled a column of air with a horrific death-like stench that moved like a person walking. This column of air left no lingering scent behind it like natural odors would. Cranmer also said that he would often wake up in the morning with mysterious scratches on his body. The scratches would usually appear in a group of 3 parallel scratches, and they would generally run straight down your back and across your chest. He said, I would never feel them when they were being applied. I would just wake up in the morning and I could certainly feel them because they hurt. Okay, and I'll show you the photo of what he is saying is the demonic scratches that he suffered from. I've always been told that when it's a demonic, it's 3. This is 2. I'm not saying that that's not what it's from by looking at it. I'm just saying that this could easily be explained away by him scratching himself in the night, a wire picking out from his mattress. I'm just saying it would be hard to believe someone based on just those 2 scratches. And that's on his arm. And he was saying that they would appear on his back. So it's kind of, in no way, I'm not dismissing him. I'm just saying the photograph isn't like compelling. Okay. It wasn't uncommon for the Cranmer family to use crucifixes in their effort to battle the demonic force they believed was infesting their home. They would often wear necklaces, but would frequently wake up and discover that something quite peculiar had happened to them. There's one that my son wore that was almost bent completely in half, folded over on itself, he said, and we found it on the floor, off of its neck, and when I opened it up again, it broke in half. Here are some photos of the crucifixes. Okay, hold on, now I'll show those with you guys. And then we can have a little discussion on it if you want. That one I would say, that's on a hanger, it looks like. And then there's one that's snapped in half, which looks paper thin. That one is weird because it's really thick and it looks like you would have to use like what do you cut metal with? Like a welding? You'd have to heat it up and cut it, wouldn't you?
Cutting torch.
Because this cross right here is really thick. Like this, yeah, it might be hard to bend it, but I don't think it's implausible that it could bend. This next one is paper thin, but this one is perplexing to me because it seems like it would have to have extreme cold or heat to snap like that. And it's a clean break. It's a clean break. Like, and I don't think that that's just like compelling evidence. Okay, I was seeing if there's any more of those. I'm just going to see what you guys say in the comment section here. Ooh. Oh. Let's see. Let's see here. Ooh, there are no explanations. The missing 401 cases are really interesting. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel that explores those, Kahlest, if that's what you guys are talking about. And then there's a paranormal radio show that goes into great detail about this all the time, about the missing people. When there's no evidence or it's just completely dumbfounding authorities. Schmeister says, I've also heard about cats marking their prey. Is that true? Kind of like peeing on them so it doesn't get stolen by other animals. Oh, hey, Immunity Zero. People getting ripped out of this dimension, nothing much. Let me see here. Interesting. That's how I was born. C-section. Ha ha ha. Okay. No, I exist outside what you call reality. Sue Siren, I definitely tune in at an interesting time. Yeah, right now, we read something about people that disappeared into another dimension, which seemed But right now we're exploring a story about a family that feels like their family home led to years of a demonic infestation. And we just shared pictures. If you go back a little bit, Soothe, if you go back a little bit, you can just see the pictures of the crosses that they were claiming were snapped and an apparition that they feel like they caught. Let's see, blood on the walls. Perhaps one of the creepier claims is the blood-like substance that Cranmer said first appeared in puddles on the bathroom floor and then later on the walls of the home. The walls really didn't bleed, he said. It's not like this stuff seeped out of the walls on its own and ran down. He said instead that it seemed as though someone or something had intentionally splattered it. Noting that priests were always going through the home and splashing holy water on the walls and floor, he said it seemed as though the demonic force did the same thing with a reddish substance. Oh. And I'll share this with you guys, and then you guys can make your own judgment call on that. But I know that I've seen, especially in a bathroom, again, this doesn't seem like blood. This seems like, I guess I would have to be there to be more optimistic about it, because it looks like when the walls, like if you buy an older house like we did and you paint, even if you paint and you get condensation on the walls, if someone ever smoked in the house, it can seep through the paint and it will look very similar to that. So I'm not dismissing his claims. I'm saying, I don't know if that looks like blood per se. And then here's a towel that is saturated in the mysterious red substance. I don't know. I feel like, especially in this day and age, you could get a lot of video footage that would be a lot more compelling. But I'm not trying to dismiss this person's claim because I didn't live in their house, and I'm sure that I don't know what will compel someone to make up years of not feeling welcome in your own home. I'm just saying it's not compelling evidence that would make me believe everything about it. I think I would have to experience it for myself. Did someone say something funny in the chat? Ectoplasm? Let me see here. Orbs in the coal room. One day, Cranmer snapped a photo of the coal room in his house and later noticed numerous circular objects seemingly floating in the air. supernatural orbs, or a mere consequence of the complexities surrounding lighting and photography, you decide. I don't think it's uncommon, and again, I'll share it for you guys to see and judge for yourself. I don't think it's uncommon to find orbs in older homes, because I think the older your house is, the more likely that you probably have something lingering around. What would be weird is if you took a series of photos and there was nothing, then orbs, and then the orbs are in a different spot or shapes. Or if you zoom in on some of them, do you see any faces in them? Do you see anything that would make you think that that's not dust? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'm seeming like a really harsh critic right now, and that's not how I'm very open-minded. I just don't think that these photographs are compelling evidence. Yeah, unholy water. Looks like rust drips to me. Yeah, me too. Oh, and now I see the comment. If I didn't know better, I'd say it's ectoplasm. I'm waiting for little green guy to hop up there. The scratches are sketchy, but I've seen things, so they could be telling the truth. But all of this seems like circumstantial. Right. Always smudge your home. Yep, I'm overdue for smudging my home. Antonio, what's up? Hello. All right, let me go back to this here. Antonio, if you're just joining us, if you go back in the live stream in a little bit, I did 10 people who seem to disappear into another dimension. And right now we're halfway through a story of a family says their home's secret history, which we haven't even got to yet, led to a demonic infestation that terrorized them for years. And if you go back a little bit, you can see some photos. But they haven't talked about the family's the home's history yet. I haven't seen them talk about that, and I can feel my voice changing. Can you hear it? Sounds like I'm getting congested as I'm talking. Awesome. While Cranmer's story might seem unbelievable to many, the Diocese of Pittsburgh has publicly stood by the details, as have others who were involved during the 2-year effort to correct the situation inside the home. I kind of have post-traumatic stress disorder, Cranmer said of the experience. I was always worried that this thing was coming back and that it would start up again. But aside from a few minor incidents, the home has been relatively calm since faith leaders held a final mass in 2005, he said. Sylvania, which was a priest, who was present during what Cranmer described as deliverance services in the home, corroborated many of the details shown in the photos and described by Cranmer in interviews. We went to pray, and you felt like you were invading an enemy territory, said Sylvania. We would have these smells, drippings on the walls that look like blood. And there's a picture, but I don't see anything that's I mean, I'll just share the picture with you. It's just a picture of the home that they said felt ominous, but I think it's just a picture of a staircase. I think it would be different if you walked into the home, though. You know how you've seen a house that looks like a friendly house, or, you know, a new friend or family member that you're going over to a new house for the first time and it looks great. The pictures look great. But once you step in there, you get a sense of how it feels, the energy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been worked in one house.
Remember when me and my husband were looking for houses? We went, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many houses we looked at. I mean, we were getting really sick. We ended up buying the first one we looked at, by the way. And we live in a little house, so don't get all, you know, weird about it. But we just live in a tiny little house. But one of the houses, we were like halfway through looking at houses, and we walked in this one house. And as soon we were in there for maybe 5 minutes, I'm like, I have to get out of this house. I have to get out of this house, because there was just something. He couldn't smell it, but I couldn't. It's literally around the corner from our house. Someone else bought it. It was set up really strange, and I had a weird taste in my mouth when I was in the house. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I could smell and taste blood. There's no explanation or reason for that. There was no reason why that should happen. But I just said, I have to get out of here right now. I'm going to get sick. And To this day, I don't know why that was. So who knows what it's like when you step into that house. I will say that that woodwork is fabulous. Kudos to the woodworkers. They really don't make houses like that anymore. Anyway, what does the chat say here? Kahlest says, I have had a lot of experience with demonic entities and hauntings. I think the people in this story, shoot, can't see the thing. I think the people in this story is misinterpreting what they see, and yes, it is just a bunch of dust particles. Paranormal content. Yay. Damn Gypsy Danny, hello. Hi, everybody, and non-bodies. If someone is actually willing to experiment, they could try salting and then burning the entire structure. If that doesn't purify it, I don't know what will. Well, let's not give anyone ideas about burning their house down. That's not what we're here for. I don't want to get sued, dude. Hey, Angela. Antonio says, old house are really bad, meaning just absorbing negative energies. Kahlest says, I have damaged pendants, i.e. bent and broken by sleeping with a necklace on. Yeah, me too. Vidith, what's up? Neat. Antonio. Oh, Vidith, I haven't seen you in a long time. And I've got to catch up on your videos. I'm way behind. I know that you have a series, too, that you just put out. So if you haven't listened, go check them out. Antonio says, it's said that the evil literally smells. Yeah, they did say that. I know that you joined me just a little bit after that I started this, but they did say that they were having a lot of odd smells. Damn Gypsy says, my house is really old and I've never felt or heard anything. Not all older houses are ominous. And I don't think it's just old houses. I think it's just any particular place. It doesn't even have to be a structure. I even have 4 cats and 3 dogs and they're very funny. Then you are very lucky and that's great. Let's keep it that way. Schmeister says there are actual documented evidence of that by the church. I am confused. Oh, burning your house down with salt? Sup, fam? I do not fear demons. Yeah, you're not supposed to fear them. They feed off of it. Veronica, hello. Hey, Duchess and hubby. Hey. My husband's sitting next to me and says, hey. Dark Scholar, if they want to go back to hell, I'll bring them. Damn Gypsy Danny says, I've lived in a home and I've felt things and never seen anything besides the things out of the corner of my eye. Ah. Schmeister says, of course, I'm only actually talking about the real extreme of life or death. Same fan, been slacking. Antonio retracted his message. Damn Gypsy Danny says, 100 years old and it's not a good area, but I guess my home could have been cleansed before I got it. True. Church documented smells both holy and unholy on certain saints' graves and other events. Bernadette did an awesome job on the lichen. Yeah, I've got to catch up. I'm just making sure that I'm keeping you guys entertained. So, like, I just wrote a list down of the different, like, branches I'm trying to, like, spread the narrations to. And I wrote it down. I'm like, okay, where's my thing at? So I have my regular job during the day. Then I've got YouTube. I've expanded to SoundCloud, which at some point I know you can get to iTunes, but I haven't went too far into that to explore it, to see. Patreon, and that's to build the platform. I don't want to bore you guys with that. ACX, that's for my audiobooks, and I just agreed this past week to do another set of Star Force series. I don't know if you guys know that's the first audiobook I did. That was like 90,000 words. And this one is 111,000 words, which it doesn't seem like a lot, you know, if you're reading a novel. But it takes quite a bit of time. Yeah, let's see. Damn sushi, Dan, blah, blah. So my point of saying that was the fact that it's hard to keep up with just listening to a story here or there by someone else. Like literally, it sounds like I'm getting a cold, so maybe that'll give me an opportunity to listen to other people's narrations, because I hope I'll be forced to sit still and listen. Damn Sushi Danny says, the last home I lived in was 2 apartments. Oh, Police says demonic entities do have a reason to be here as part of the natural balance of things. Then you get people like me who help keep them in check. Antonio says, oh, by the way, I loved your sci-fi creepypasta. I remember. Oh, thank you. I loved it too. That Dark Scholar wrote that. Police. Squirrel. How do you actually fight demons?
Yeah.
Boxing gloves? All right, so let's get back to this story. All right, the priest also said that Cranmer and his family members would wake up with scratches or bites, and that the horror took a toll on the entire family. Sylvania offered up the theory that an abortion mill was run inside the home long ago, and that it possibly opened the door to the terrifying presence. Additionally, the family believes that a traumatic murder and burial might have unfolded in the 1700s on the property. Okay, first of all, again, I feel like everybody that has a typewriter and a computer can be an author to an article, but I feel like if you're going to, could you not do a little bit of research and find out if any of that's true before you, number one, have people come and write it in a story and post it on the internet? I mean, even I could do the research and find out if that's true. You told me almost what the address was. I think I could figure out what that is. So speculation on if a traumatic murder might have unfolded in the 1700s on the property. Do you have anything to back that up? So again, I'm not trying to be, what's the word?
Expert.
No. People that are, I'm not trying to disprove it or say it's not true. I'm just saying that if you're going to make these claims, you should probably come with some backup and say that you've tried to, at least say, I've tried to look it up, but I can't find anything that would prove this. Don't just make the claim and then hold that as evidence. The priest described the process of dispelling the force as a long one that was like putting out a fire on a gas well. There are ritual prayers for house infestation. There are patterns of prayer, Sylvania said. We turn to God, the saints, the Blessed Mother. There are regular prayers, psalms, scripture passages. Oh my gosh. And it says, read more about the terrifying story here. What do you guys think about all that? Bye, Ghost Eagle. Bye, Angela. Dan Jesse says, the last home I lived in was an older home in the hood with 2 apartments in it. And the upstairs had 4 separate people who overdosed and died in the apartment, and everyone always put their couch in. Oh, God. Kahlest said, you don't fight, you convince them to go elsewhere. Yeah, that's true. Probably. The exact same spot no matter who moved in, damn just you said. Oh, so each person put their couch in the same spot when they moved in the apartment. Is that what you were saying? Schmeister says, I mean, it's one thing to do exorcism, but how do you fight spirits? Blessings? I have heard that the people that are doing it have to sort of go into like a fast or meditate on it, and they have to focus and really have no distraction and be have a conviction of what they believe in. But I haven't experienced it, so I couldn't tell you. Antonio says, I was once asked by my grandma if I would perform an exorcism on the environment my aunt lived in. That's odd. That's a brave thing to do, especially if it's not something you're an expert at. Please says blessings, prayers, things like that. The word you are looking for, skeptic. Right. I think it's good to skeptical, a skeptic. Yeah. Schmeister says, if we're going to do some driving out of spirits, I recommend the Chinese way. Loud noises and festivals and firecrackers and lots of food.
You know what I'm talking about.
Antonio says, these new branches of content you're doing is really interesting. I'm really excited to do the Greek mythology. this Saturday, I'm doing a serial killer Saturday. And then I think the Saturday after that, I'm going to dive into the Greek mythology because I really, really want to. I don't know if anyone's going to watch it but like 10 people, but I'm really excited to do it. Phantom dinner day, eh? Yeah. I heard you were sick. Are you feeling better? I think it's like wafting over on this side of the state. Antonio says, hi, Phantom. Damn. I read back the comments for anyone who might watch the live stream back because they can't see the live chat. So if I read it out loud, then they get to hear what you guys were saying too. Just in case anyone wondered. Damn Gypsy says, yes. Phantom says, sup, Antonio. Kahlest says, LOL, blood usually works. Antonio says, man, cool to catch up with you, Phantom. Phantom says, hi, Kahlest. Kahlest says, I'm going to watch for sure. Kahlest says, hi, Phantom. Antonio says, I love mythology, Duchess. Phantom says, I need to go to Duchess's stream. I think you were at my last stream, too. I don't do them very often because I'm working during the day, Monday through Friday, and usually I am really, like, just trying to make sure everything is organized for the next day when I get home. And then I got on here because I just recorded part 1 of a 5-part series for Tuesdays that Brian Morrow, which I'm surprised he's not here. Brian Morrow sent me the story and it was like 18 pages long. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to break this into parts. And he had already broken it into parts, thank God. So part 1 will be up tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out and seeing how everybody likes that. Schmeister says that's legit how it is for the Chinese. They do it every New Year, hence the firecrackers, not fireworks, but firecrackers. Phantom says, no, I died, but hey, at least that took care of the sickness. LOL, JK. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better things. Antonio says, your video always are cool, Phantom. 18 pages, huh? Yeah, and also someone else sent me something that's about 18 pages too, but I'm going to have to break that into parts. Because I was like, I don't know about you, but when I look at something that's 18 pages, I'm like, especially after if I only had that to do, I'd be like, yes, let's do this. But when you have like other stuff you got to get done, I'm like, damn, I don't know if I can get this done. Yes, so our Duchess's videos, Antonio. Oh, I see what you did there, Phantom. Okay, so this, so the person that said their house was infested by demonic force is a Pennsylvanian politician.
Liar.
Okay, and there's a few more photos. Like there's a different photo of the, let me see if I can share that here. Another photo of the cross. It's like, it's just sideways. Let's see, let's go down here. See if there's any more photos is why I went there. It seems like the same photo. It's just like, if you want to hear more about it, click here. But I'm not seeing anything different than... Okay, so Cranmer said he would sometimes use the film The Passion of the Christ to ward off the demon, playing it for 6 months straight until the DVD no longer worked. I think if you play any DVD for 6 months straight, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 months straight, that the DVD wouldn't work anymore. I mean, I think I've got a good run at some 20 plays in a row where it's like, oh, there must be a scratch in it.
The wiggles keep going on and on.
I would come in and the TV would be turned off. The DVD would be taken out of the player. Okay, see, now that's different. And then he says, claiming that the demon hated it. Okay. You know, I don't know. Anyway, in another instance, Cranmer said some of the family's personal items were found in a crawl space that the paranormal and faith team sawed into, a space that had long been inaccessible. Okay, so that's crazy. That part's crazy. But also, I would like to see photos of it. Like, all they keep showing me are photos of the broken crosses, but really, I'd like to see the the photos and maybe even some video footage of them sawing through the floor and then finding the stuff that you couldn't even, how would it get there? Like, wouldn't that be more compelling than the pictures of the broken cross? All right. This is an area that's been closed off for almost 100 years, Cranmer said. We found playing cards. We even found some of my kids' Lego toys, and it was completely closed off and not accessible at all. But again, there's no photos of it. There's just another picture of the broken cross, which, again, if you weren't here for that, I'll just share with you the picture of that broken cross there. But again, that one is paper thin. The one that was at the top of the page, it looked like you would have to have some kind of like, but I guess I would have to see it in person to know if it's something you could just snap with your hand, because it looks like a clean break. The chain, anything can break a chain. That cross, I don't know if you're seeing it, but it kind of looks like it's burnt. It's darkened right at the top of that edge. Do you see that? It almost looks like it was heated. And again, I'm not saying that this stuff didn't happen to these people. I'm just saying it seems odd that that's the only photographic evidence that we're seeing in this. Sylvania says he knows some will scoff at Cranmer's claims, but he insists the home was infested. And he said skeptics are faced with a simple option. I think these people will have to look at the experiences of other people, he said. Either this person claiming infestation is totally out of their mind, or they experience something they cannot explain in our world, and it has something to do with another world. Bly said skeptics are right to be cautious, and that it often takes a personal experience to show people that spiritual realms exist beyond this world. Bly, who has a deep interest in brain science, continues to help train priests in combating demonic entities. Cranmer is making final edits on his book about the experience titled The Demon of Brownsville Road, slated for release of August 5th, 2014. So apparently this book is already released. There's a website to it, and I will share that with you guys here so you can see it for yourself, and we can I love looking at stuff with you guys. I feel like we're looking at it together on the computer. Because I mean, if you think I can get lost in a conversation, you should see me on the computer. Pinterest is like a field day for me. The Demon of Brownsville Road, written by Bob Cranmer. It kind of makes me want to. Okay, so what is this? Bethel Park Speaker Series? That's not even part of that. Bob Cranmer remembers his haunted house and the terrifying events of the Molech. So, I mean, he's went on to just basically name it something. I'm saving that so I can go back. And my dog is snoring underneath the computer desk right now. Let's see. I came back to look, and then it's like, okay, hold on. I have to scroll up so I can see comments. I've been in place, so I know how it is to read lines, but 18 pages. Oh, the book I just signed on to is 192 pages. But that's a whole nother. One day I'm gonna make a video on that. I think I figured out how to record the screen so that you guys could see like the process of just editing like one chapter, because you have to pre-read it, then read it, and I have a clicker so that when I'm reading I can just, and I screw up, I can just click and then keep on reading, then I can go back and see what I need to edit out. Then you have to go and edit between every single like word that you say or break, see if it's a long enough break. And then make sure you get rid of all the like background noises and clicks and stuff like that. But I think I want to make a video on that so you could see that. Phantom says there's only so many hours in the world. Yeah, no kidding. Damn Gypsy Danny said I see more things at work than anywhere else ever. What do you do that you see stuff at work, Damn Gypsy? Phantom says, hello, Mr. Duchess Dark, by the way. Haha, that's funny. Antonio says they have to be careful sometimes when making crosses from forged metal because depending on where the metal came from, the cross may be cursed, not blessed by a grandma. Remembered this. My grandma remembered this. Oh, that's true. Or Mr. Dutch Dark. Oh my goodness. Schmeister said if they're going to blast the demon with media, they should have gone with prayer tracks or holy mantras or spiritual mass. I'd also try to get crosses made of silver and actually blessed by a spiritual authority, preferably Vatican, if you're going to go gear up, go hardcore. Yeah, what about some holy water and some, isn't there a blessed oil you're supposed to have too? Antonio says in some instances, Catholic priests have combined their efforts with white witches in fighting demons. Or Indian chiefs as well. Schmeister says, hey, it happened in the Dark Ages, so why not? Dab Gypsy says, I'm a night janitor at a retirement and rehab center. Oh, so you see some crazy stuff, don't you? When I was in high school, I know that I told you guys this. If you haven't heard this, I was doing I thought I wanted to be a nurse. And part of that training was, I'm like 16 and I was going into these retirement homes. And I'm not sure if any of you have experienced someone who's got not early onset dementia, but they've got full on dementia or what is that? Alzheimer's. It's absolutely terrifying when someone looks at you and like says hi to you and is smiling and then just stops and stares at you and then stares at you for a really long time and then laughs maniacally. It's absolutely terrifying. A retirement and rehab center. So I think that you have the perfect combination. You damn Gypsy Danny should have a notebook with you every night so you can write this shit down because you have like probably a story you could write from a few sentences every single night. Wow. Daija Turner says, hi, hello. If I said your name right, Daija Turner? Maybe I didn't. Schmeister says, hey, Gypsy, have you ever tried singing to Black Widow while working? Wow. Schmeister is living up to their name. Kahlest says, holy water is the easiest thing to make, And Antonio, a true witch is neither white or dark. They simply are who they are. They do what is necessary and accept responsibility for our actions. True that. Plus, is witchcraft or paganism, is it not the same thing? Is the oldest religion, is it not? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. I'm totally fine with admitting I'm wrong a lot. I can tell my voice is like trying to go away from me. And I don't think it's from talking on here. I just feel like all of a sudden congested. I think I sounded like this the last time I did a live stream though. Maybe it is the constant talking that's doing it to my voice. I don't know. Christianity has pagan DNA. Yeah. I'm starting to space out now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to live stream. I don't know if anyone is new here or not or doesn't follow me on Twitter. I probably should have posted this on Instagram too. Oh, Wicca even has roots in ancient. Yeah, Wicca, witchcraft, paganism. I'm not sure what the difference is between them, but I believe they're older than Christianity. Old religion may sound dubious, but it's got some real legit things. The use of salt as a purifier, for one thing. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I was telling everybody that was here early in the stream that I got a genetics test from 23andMe as a Christmas present, and I sent it away a week ago Sunday, so it's been like a week and a day. And I guess it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to come back. And I asked on Twitter if you guys wanted to see the results, and that was 100% there. So if you guys want to know that, my plan is to when I get the email, wait to open it until it's on the live stream, and then you guys can see it when I see it, because I have a lot of questionable family history that I'd like to have cleared up, so I'm hoping that it does. Damn Gypsy says, once I had this lady who had onset dementia, and she seen a man leave out her window. She stopped me to go outside and look. And I think I saw a shadow man slink across the yard, and I shrugged it off. I check her window at that one is the only one unlocked. My heart sank. Oh my gosh. Whoo. Yeah. Plus, I think that hospitals or any type of hospital setting at night is freaky without anything happening. There's a feeling, and you guys, maybe there's people that are totally fine with it and don't feel anything at all and have like no like vibes come off of anything, and that's why they are totally fine with working in hospitals at night. But I feel like there's a different kind of feeling when you're in a hospital at night. It's just, yeah. At that point, you call the Winchesters. That's a place that I would love to go, the Winchester house. Does everybody know about that house? Is there anybody that doesn't know about this house? I was going to pull it up on Google so you could see it. Hold on. And it's not Squirrel. Someone said Winchester. It led to that. It's a totally legit, the Winchester Mystery House. Let's see who doesn't know that. I don't see anything in the stream. What's the scariest thing you've ever seen?
House payment.
House payment. Our house payment is nothing. I think that's, our rent was more than our house payment. I think that's scary. People that don't invest in their future. Besides our current president, but like, so, seriously, yeah, that's scary. Only one thing. I'm trying to think of the scariest thing. I'll tell you something that happened to me that was scary, and it was probably just my mind playing tricks on me. But I am the type of person that there's certain like folklore that I feel like is just silly, and there's some that I feel like, and it's probably silly for me to believe it, but I feel like you should maybe pay attention to, and that is skinwalkers. And so when I did my skinwalker story, I think it was back in when was that? Almost a year ago now. I told Mark about this too, and my husband. But I did this skinwalker story, and I swear, like that night and the next 3 nights, I felt like something was staring at me from outside. And for the next 3 nights in a row, my dogs woke me up in the middle of the night because they were barking at something. And I didn't see anything there. And I'm sure that it was a coincidence, or maybe my mind was hyping it up. But that scared the living shit out of me. I'm not normally scared. I think that things that you can't control are what scare me. Like, I'm not scared of other people at all. Like, there's nothing about other people that scare me. I'm the type of person that has, you know, there's the fight or flight people. I'm the fight instantly. Let's see. Let me go back to the comments now because I got wrapped up in that question. Amen said, I live a half an hour from there, the Winchester Mystery House. Have you ever toured it? That's my next question for you. If you have seen it, have you been in it? Because I would love to. There are staircases that lead to nowhere. And there's a room in the top where, what's her name? It probably says her name. Is it Sarah Winchester? Yep, Sarah Winchester created a room in the top where she would hold seances to try, and she felt like the house was haunted from the victims of the guns that her family fortune was built on. Dum, dum, dum. Antonio says, I'm from San Jose, grew up in San Jose where the Winchester house was. Ooh, did you ever go inside of it? So cool. And then while they were building it, they would like hire and fire it, so nobody knew what the whole house was going to entail. Kahlest says shadow men are a completely different creature altogether. Shadow people are not from this dimension nor from any other dimension. They are from between the dimensions and can do great harm and good. Schmeister says, I accept that Winchester House is haunted, but I straight up reject that it was from all the people who got killed by the gun. Oh, no, that was just her speculation. I think that when you create, and there's another house like that, and I will try and figure out what that one was, but there is another house that was specifically built in a very similar way with staircases that lead to nowhere and doors that open to nothing, and that house is haunted too. I think that when you create a structure in a very, I think it's H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
H.H. Holmes, the murder palace that he created, he made it something very similar to that, and it was built in a very similar way, and he did the same thing too. He built his house, hired and fired contractors, so no one ever knew what the whole thing entailed until someone went into it. So that's very scary, and it's built in around the same time. When I did my story on him, I did a live stream, and we were talking about the Winchester House and H.H. Holmes House and talking about the time frame of when they were built, and very plausible that they could have been designed by the same person. So I think that sometimes you can design something, and I'm totally sounding like a Ghostbuster right now, but you could totally design something that would be more inclined to be not so friendly to the living. I'll just say that. But again, I'd have to be in it. Damn Gypsy says, I kind of don't mind. I've even seen a man I know is dead. He will watch me mop the dining hall. He was a great, funny guy. I can even tell him, scary me tonight to go away, and he will. Oh, you're scaring me tonight. Oh, that's good. That's good. Whoa. Amen says the stairs are only like 4 inches high. That's weird. Schmeister says, wow, you got influence ghost pals. That's awesome. Kahlest says, the thing with legends and old tales is that every one of them contains at least a grain of truth. Exactly. Like when someone tells a joke, there's always a grain of truth to that. I think that everything's based from something. So, damn, she says, for about a year, I thought it was all in my head till I asked the old funny man to do something so that I know I'm not insane. Kahlest said, well, did you talk about skinwalkers? So not surprised you felt something. Yeah, I did a whole story on them, Kahlest. There's like thousands of people to watch it. That's why I was so freaked out. Amen says, yeah, Tourette needs to do a night tour. Yeah, wow. I would love to go in that house. I'm mainly fascinated by the great detail the woodworkers took when they built houses like that. Like, you just don't see that now. They built houses to be around forever, creepy or not. But they made houses to stay around forever. They just don't make houses like that anymore. I mean, unless you request it. But I personally don't know anyone that's requested a house built in great detail like that. Kahlest says, yes, H.H. Holmes, but it is gone now. It was torn down. Yeah, yeah. Spicer says, I think it's possible to manipulate spiritual energy like to a point. Feng Shui is a good example. Exactly. Exactly. Antonio says there was a History Channel series that had a team with modern descendant of H.H. Holmes investigating theory that H.H. Holmes was Jack the Ripper. Yep, I've heard that too. But I've also heard that it was a woman. So it seems like now if you could go back and do some maybe genetic testing to see if you could find any genetic evidence on the victims, because it doesn't really matter how old the victims are at this point. You can do genetic testing to see if there's any separate genetics found on the victims, to see if there's any blood, skin, hair from someone else that doesn't belong to the victim on the victim. So I would be curious to know if they've done that in great detail in the current times. Yes. There's several theories that it was an American, and that that there were several other very similar cases here too. Schmeister says, I can only imagine how hard cops would stomp Jack's ass if they had tech back then. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes I think that if they revisited cases like that, they could just stop the speculation by thoroughly researching it and going through the cadavers again. Squirrel. Huh? No. I think what happens is I'm not sure where the chat's at, so I just I'm reading back the chat. But I really want to. Anyways, hello. Hello, Autumn. Squirrel. I think I'm getting tired now. I think I'm going to wrap it up now because we've been on here for a while. If anybody wants to say anything or has any more questions. Did you just get here, Autumn? I don't remember seeing you earlier. I think I'm gonna wrap it up now because we've been on here for a while now. If anybody doesn't have any more questions, I did. We'll go back through and you can see some of the photos of the crazy stories. And I don't even know if it's that crazy, and you can judge for yourself when you go through and see what the stories are. But a guy and his family claim that their house was infested and they were tormented by demonic forces. But the photographic evidence is not that compelling. And so it makes one feel very skeptical about his claims. So, yeah. So I'm going to say good night. And I'm really glad I was able to stream. I was really missing you. I like this. It's the closest thing I can get to hanging out with you guys in real life. I mean, because you guys are always supportive of the channel. And when you're supportive of the channel, it helps me keep going. It makes me want to keep, trying to make a platform for horror. And it makes me want to keep trying with my audiobooks and keep trying when I'm really tired because I'm doing something else. Been awesome to catch up. Yes, I'm so glad. And Antonio, I hope that you're listening to all of your Patreon content that you have. Yes, listen back, Autumn, and then see. And I'll try to find the links and post them. I wish I would have done that while I was on here. Duh. But I'll go back and try and post the links to the stuff we were looking at in the chat when the live stream ends so that you can go and look at it for yourself. Yeah. I think you guys would be fun to hang out with. I have a tendency to keep talking until people are like, okay, what you gonna shut up now? But anyways. Yes, I hope you do, Damn Gypsy Danny. I hope you share more, and I hope that you start writing some of your experiences down. You should start keeping a journal. Smeister, in conclusion, go full silver and blessed by the Vatican on your gear. Go Van Helsing on that ghost's ass. All right, Schmeister. I'm going to say we're going to wrap it up here. And I hope you guys all have a really good week because it's Monday, right? Usually I live stream on the weekend. Was that the last time I live streamed? Was that on a weekend? Or was it a Monday too?
I think it was a weekday.
It was a weekday, wasn't it?
It was one of the days we had off for vacation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, Case Lee. Oh, you were here the whole time? I didn't see you say one thing. But, all right. And Autumn is saying it for me. And I'm going to say I'm really happy you guys joined me. And we're going to wrap it up now. And so I'm going to say see you next time. Bye.